Gaza already attracts far more attention and international aid than other impoverished regions of the world. About two-thirds of Gaza's population of 1.7 million people rely on aid assistance and receive free services such as schooling and health, provided mainly by international aid agencies such as UNRWA, in addition to other local NGOs. About half the workforce is unemployed, and many employed Gazans are paid miserly wages. They are struggling to make ends meet. The ongoing Israeli six-year siege, which has generally hurt the economy in Gaza, is producing a small wealthy economic elite, while the vast majority suffers. The grinding poverty of most people in the Hamas-ruled Gaza is a result of years of suffocating Israeli blockade, as well as the corruption and mismanagement of the local government. Some blame authorities for failing to address the problems that plague daily life, while others hold the West Bank-centered Palestinian Authority, led by President Mahmoud Abbas, responsible. They say that the Abbas government has abandoned Gaza.
Gaza's population under the siege remains largely impoverished. There are families here that have inherited wealth from previous generations, and there are even a few people who have managed to become wealthy under the siege. But for the most part, the overwhelming majority of the population relies on an international aid industry funded by UNRWA and private agencies.
The wealthy elite is comprised of those who have a stable monthly income. For example, Hamas and the Palestinian Authority government employees, or those that work in the private sector. This minority can afford to dine at expensive restaurants, like the Lighthouse Restaurant, Al Dira, or the Movenpick Hotel.
There is 1.7 million people here. There are always going to be a certain percentage who have a lot more than everybody else. So sadly, this is the case. The highest percentage, many of whom have worked outside, and they reinvest in Gaza and they maintain apartments and buildings here. Others obviously are working and making business here, and there is still business to be made with so many mouths to feed and so much consumption. There is still a need for people to make business. However, there are a rising number of people at the top of society and financially, and this is obviously a concern given that the vast majority are living in dire poverty and appalling conditions.
This four-star hotel, located northeast of Gaza City, attracts many customers from middle class and wealthy families. The territory also has an established middle class of old Martian families, senior aid officials, and loyalists of Fatah, a Palestinian group that rivals Hamas, but there is less resentment toward them. Perhaps because they are not in power, the new signs of prosperity are due to a mini construction boom that can be traced back to Israel's easing of the blockade it imposed on Gaza in 2007. The newly opened shopping malls and supermarkets, as well as cafes and hotels, are allowing a tiny middle class to flaunt its wealth in the impoverished Gaza Strip. These luxurious establishments cater exclusively to a small number of wealthy Gazans. Established capital owners make about 10% of Gaza's population, but the new wealthy class, many associated with Hamas, benefited from the huge smuggling trade from 2007 until 2011. During the past 5 years, some people, especially tunnel owners, have become rich, benefiting from people suffering under the blockade and division. Economic observers say that the new wealthy, numbering about 100, have now become Gaza's new millionaires.
Traditionally speaking, there is a business class in Gaza, the private sector, who are making good money out of their investment. Now, but as a result of the siege which have been imposed on Gaza for more than 5 years now, a new emerging business and rich class have emerged as a result of the smuggling business between the Gaza Strip and Egypt. And new millionaires have come to the surface as a result of this smuggling business.
In contrast to the wealthy, the poor can only afford to go to open spaces like a park or take their families out to enjoy a day out and walk along a 2-kilometer stretch of the sandy, potholed Rashid Coast Road, which has been proudly transformed into a popular recreational space where people can enjoy the beach. Yusuf Al-Halo, reporting for The Real News, Gaza City.